Razzabanif IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Delighted to have with me the Don, the legend, the notorious Mr. Kalle Sauerland. Kalle, how are we doing?
Doing very well, thank you for that introduction, Razza. I think it's our first piece together today. It's a historical landmark piece. So what better way to celebrate it than announcing Eubank Jnr-Williams, the All-British Fighter of the Year?
Absolutely. I saw you holding onto your Louis Vuitton bag to a Wow Hydrate bottle.
One of them Bangkok jobs.
I thought you were going to be sponsoring and shouting out these brands. A man like you just never know.
And I'll leave that. My personal sponsors will be revealed just before fight night.
Interesting. Kalle, we're obviously here today at the official announcement and press conference between Chris Eubank Jr. and Dillian Whyte. Quite respectful from Liam. I think a lot of people expected the opposite, and Chris just said it how it was.
Well, it started respectful, and then there was words at the end which made it spicier. I think Junior basically went back on what was said on social media before, and you know what you can tell is there is a real grudge between the two of them, and hey, that's what we want. You know, we don't want everyone to love each other. At the same time, we don't want tables flying. I've been there, thank you, Del, in the past, and had a nice close shave with a table at press conferences. I've had bottles thrown at press conferences. I've had all sorts, and we don't need none of that. We don't need any WWE stuff. This was real, and I thought it was respectful to a point, and at points when it got a bit nastier. And I'm sure today was the first. You know, they're off now filming Off the Gloves at Sky, and you know the build-up will be, I think, continue a little bit online, no doubt, as it is these days. And then, of course, we've got Fight Week, big Fight Week in Wales, you know, with the press conference there. Be interesting to see the difference between the press conference today and the press conference there. And then, of course, the weigh-in, you know, which I think there's a lot going to happen before the fight. So it's got real big fight feeling to this one, and you know, very proud that we got it made.
Kalle, when you took on Chris Eubank Jr., you said it was important for him to stay active. You know, he's been very inactive. Obviously, he had a lot of personal issues outside of the ring, COVID, fighting in America, fighting in the UK, not really having one set promoter for a long period of time. You've obviously taken upon that challenge to keep him active. He's had to be third fight in a matter of 6 months or 7 months. Was this that big name that you wanted him to have in December? Because there were a lot of names flying around.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, in an ideal world, we would have already fought Golovkin, Murata on one night, and on the next night Andrade. But it's been a very successful year in terms of what we've had to deal with outside the ring. We know the stories around the tragic loss of his brother. We know his COVID issues, and we got him out in May. Marcus Morrison was the perfect fight, and then Avjan in Newcastle in October. It's activity, isn't it? And now we're stepping it up. You know, number 6 in the world, someone who's been at the world level for a long time now, actually. Hey, if that's another Brit and they don't like each other, that makes it all the spicier, doesn't it? So you know, it's a fight that's going to do very well in the UK, but also very well, I think, internationally, and something that sets up those big fights next year. It's, you know, I'm not going to look past this fight. I will, as a promoter, be talking in the background with potential fights for next year. But Chris certainly ain't looking past Williams, because it's a real tough fight, you know, and that's what you want to see in boxing. You know, you want to see fights like that, and you want to see that bit of spice added to it, and you know, a bit of the drama, without too much drama. And you know, we talked a little bit about the red hot atmosphere that we're going to see in Cardiff, and you know, Cardiff is Welsh sports fans are known for creating crazy atmospheres, but Welsh boxing fans even more so. So I'm sure it'll be a red hot atmosphere. But I've been there with Junior in fight in Yildirim with Turkish fans and flares going off, welcome to hell banners up, and he walked in and did a job in them in a couple of rounds. So
let's not forget the press conference that week as well.
The press conference with the, I won't repeat the stories of what he wanted to do with someone's wife in someone's bed. That is still the most legendary press conference I've ever been at. That includes Dell's table throwing and a few others. But now you got me. I got still laugh about that. But today was hostile but respectful. But Junior, as he does, sets his stall out to make a statement on terms of what he wants to achieve in that fight, and he will use the words, I think, obliterate. Those aren't sort of soft words, are they? So he wants to make a statement in December, and he's got a tough man in front of him.
This fight itself, it's amazing clash of styles because both of them love to come on the front foot and let hands go. They don't step back. They like to let hands go. Is that what makes it even more exciting?
It's like one of them golf carts when you put it in reverse and it makes that beep 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 sound. These gladiators don't do back foot, right? So the fan is going to be treated to maximum. There's another boxer who uses that, maximum violence, but it will be, because you're going to see two guys who are going to go at it from round one, however long it lasts. I can't see it going the distance, it's at a weight where at middleweight you'll see speed but power as well. So it's going to be very, very interesting.
I just want to get your thoughts on a couple of other things. Eddie's come out and he said Canelo would love to fight in the UK, and one of the obvious names that Eddie mentioned was Chris Eubank Jr. because the UK fans love him. He does fill out stadiums. He can put bums on seats. Have any of those conversations taken place with Eddie about Canelo and Eubank Jr.?
Yeah, we've had some loose conversations on it. I mean, if Canelo does come to the UK, there's, and once again, we're not looking past Williams. There's only one fight really to make at the moment that I can think of, or I think anyone else could think of, that would be plausible, and that would be Eubank. But once again, we're not looking past that. I saw this morning Canelo talking about cruiserweights. I mean, Myris Briedis, he's ready. He texted me at 7:02 this morning. I want Canelo. So that was Myris. So I don't know if Canelo came over to the UK. Yeah, it's huge. He's a superstar, and Chris is a superstar here, and he'll be even more of a superstar if he puts on a great show in front of, and there's going to be a lot of fans watching. It's free to view. There was a lot of talk about pay-per-views. I personally think if it was a pay-per-view, it wouldn't have embarrassed anyone as a pay-per-view, given the light of other pay-per-views that have been made over the years. But it's free to view, so it's a huge platform in what's going to be a big night.
You made this video and put it on social media. Don't worry, she didn't expose you. It's a different video. Yeah.
Right, you get me off guard.
You said you was going to make a significant offer for Briedis and Briedis-Okolie. Eddie's come out and said he's still waiting for a significant offer, and he said you may be just pulling his leg there to entice him to make that offer. Is that just you messing about, Kalle?
I am playing a bit of cat and mouse there. Eddie's told me since April that he's going to send me an offer for Briedis. So I came out and said you'll get an offer from us, but there has been a little bit of a development there. The fact that Latvia went straight after that fight into lockdown, full lockdown, has meant that we haven't sent an offer yet. But let me tell you, Eddie, I didn't know you said that. That offer will be in your inbox within the next 7 days. So you asked me on my ex interview if we made an offer. Absolutely no. It's a fight that We have our mandatory obligations with Opatai, the Australian, but I think Okolie and Briedis is a fight that will get made next year. As long as both are still world champion, it will get made next year. Whether it's my offer or Eddie's offer, which mine is only about 5 weeks late, yours is about 8 months late. Did he really say? Did he say that? I haven't watched. I don't watch all of it.
He said it in an interview. Yes.
He said it in an interview.
He was still waiting for your offer.
Eddie, I'm looking forward to that offer. But don't worry, you'll be getting one from me as well.
Kalle, I just want to get your thoughts on this whole Dillian Whyte situation. I know we've spoken about it with you so many times, but everyone was
That is so cheeky, Eddie. Yeah, I can't believe 8 months I've been waiting for that offer. 8 months. Right, okay. I'll have to up my offer that I haven't made yet.
Dillian Whyte. We thought we were going to get a ruling from the WBC to say he is the next mandatory, but they obviously have come out and said there's an arbitration going on until the arbitration isn't done, etc., etc. What does Dillian Whyte do?
I've just been to Dean Whyte about it. I mean, I think it's one of those tough ones in boxing. I mean, on the one hand, you've had Tyson Fury just put out the heroics for the sport almost, not just for himself, but it's given boxing such a shot in the arm. On the other hand, you've got Dillian, who's been sitting there, for I don't know how many days it is. Must have been there was a loss in between, so that sort of rule-wise cuts that mandatory length that you've been mandatory for. But still, it's a fight that, forget the mandatory situation for me. It's a great fight. I can't really comment on it because I don't know about the arbitration, and I've been involved in these arbitrations myself. They are horrible. They cost a lot of money, and they are horrible. So I wish Dillian all the best in that. And my advice would be keep busy, But I think keep busy in smart fights now. That doesn't sound great because people say, "Oh, do you want him to do box tomato cans in the meantime?" No, but box well-matched fights and keep yourself busy. But I wouldn't take the risks that he maybe took in the past. I mean, Dillian, you've got to give him credit as a gladiator. He seems to know no fear. I mean, he's the only mandatory my living memory who's boxed people like Povetkin, like Oscar Rivas as a mandatory challenger. So give him credit for that. I think that has to be seen somewhere in the whole process. And I think he's a credit to the sport in that sense. A lot of people, and once again, my advice would be to box fights that you're going to win and get through those. And boxing, anything can happen at heavyweight, of course, but let's say safer fights, But he'll get his shot. I'm sure he gets his shot. It's a really, really tough one to comment on for me.
Kalle, I know this is probably not the best person to answer this question, but I just want to get your thoughts on this whole anti-Joshua situation with regards to Sky Sports. Is he going to sign with Sky Sports? I know Sky are your partners here in the UK, and you would love for Anthony to carry on with Sky. The Zone have kind of teased us with a potential pay-per-view. I've spoken to Eddie about it, and Eddie has told me that they may introduce pay-per-view for the one-off big spectacles, which might mean that Anthony Joshua may go over the Zone because they have a pay-per-view platform where he can maximise on his capacity to earn. But what could you tell us about behind the scenes? Do you think he'll stay with Sky or look to go with a different provider?
I mean, ultimately, I think that, and I'd correct you a little bit there. Our relationship in the UK is with Sky and Boxer. And that's the one thing. But we also work a lot with the Zone together internationally. Also a great platform. In the UK, though, Anthony's been, when I land at Heathrow, there's a 100-metre poster on the side of the building of Sky, so he's a real ambassadorial figure for Sky. So I think they've done a lot for his career. But this is boxing, and these guys take serious risks in the ring. So, my answer is it will all boil down to money. And on that one, I'm sorry, but that's the right decision where the money is. I'm sure Anthony will look at that and look. No one's doing me any favours in the ring, and that's he's not going out there and playing 5 sets of tennis. He's going in there and taking real risks. And we saw that in the last fight. He took some serious punishment. So. I think the boxer always has to take the financially most viable option, and I'm sorry that sounds like a really horrible promoter answer, but that's the truth. Stepping into a ring is something that very few men dare to do.
Okay, Kalle, I know it's been a long day for you talking. I know you like to talk as well, but any final comments before we end this interview?
No, I think you've done a fantastic job on our first interview, Razza.
I have interviewed you before.
Have you?
Many times.
No. Have you? Have we done it Zooms?
Different outlet.
Okay. All right.
I won't repeat the outlet's name.
And I'll say, welcome to the IFL team. Fantastic meeting you as a member of the IFL team. And I think today was a success, but I think it's going to really heat up from here, and it's just the kick-off. It's the kick-off we wanted. Delighted.
We look forward to your offer to Eddie in the next 7 days.
Absolutely. Or maybe Eddie's offer from the last 8 months being promised arrives earlier. We will see. Time will tell.
Let's see when this interview goes out. Kalle Sauerland, IFL TV, thank you very much.